feel like I'm lost in a land that time forgot. And just like Marshall, Will, and Holly, I'm in a perilous spot. It's not that I don't love her, and it's not that I don't care, but I'm certain that I'm gonna die if I don't end this affair. You see, my girlfriend is a sleeve stack, and she's always lurking near. And even though she's sexy, my heart is still filled with fear. With stealthy steps and silent grace, they stalk their prey through time and space. A sleeve stack who's been scorned is a truly chilling scene. If I break my sleeve stack's heart, then she will break me. See, my girlfriend is a sleeve stack, and she's always lurking near. Always lurking near. And even though she's sexy, my heart is still filled with fear. There's no escape, nowhere to run. I'm in a deadly grip, and it's kind of fun. Yeah! You see, my girlfriend is a sleeve stack, and she's always looking near. Always lurking near. Even though she's sexy, my heart is still filled with fear. You see, my girlfriend is a sleeve stack, and she's always looking near. Always lurking near. And even though she's sexy, my heart is still filled with
Captain's log, stardate 2025. Dave's live stream is about to start.
The live stream has started. Let's fight tomorrow.
Prepare live stream for interplanetary transmission. Broadcast Dave Sundstrom and the good stuff throughout the galaxy.
Good Stuff Live with Dave Sundstrom.
The Live Stream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
Good evening and welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and if you enjoy talking about music, movies, mostly classic TV from decades gone by, you've come to the right place. Tonight, our focus, our energies are going to be expended on talking about 70s science fiction. So that should be fun. Lots of great shows from that era. There's a poll right now that you can participate in. I picked the top 4 science fiction shows that focused on space exploration. And I want you to vote on them. Which one do you think? Well, which one was your favorite? Right now, it looks like Battlestar Galactica is in the lead over other shows such as Buck Rogers, Space 1999, and Star Trek The Animated Series. So make sure your voice is heard. And before we get too far into anything tonight, I want to say hello to everybody. I'm going to start with the milestone message. Any of channel members that want to use their milestone message, feel free to do so. And those are always given priority. So let me go ahead and put this on the screen. We've got Lance Chaffin, who has been a channel member, a supporting channel member for 36 months. That's 3 years. I think Lance was on Patreon as well, so more than 3 years. He says, thank you, Dave, for all you do for us. Thank you, Lance, for all the support that you provide as well. And I'm seeing some additional milestone messages just kind of trickling in. Let me go ahead and hit all of those. We've got Sarah, aka My Flock is Everywhere, who's been a member for 8 months now. Wow, time has flown, Sarah. She says, whoop, whoop. Well, a whoop, whoop right back at you, Sarah, and thank you so much for all your support. And then, outdoing them all, channel member Tracy Rothmeyers, aka Tracy's Fractured History and More, who's been a member for 46 months, going on 4 years. She says hello to everybody. That's just awesome. I love milestone messages because in addition to seeing the message, right, I get to see how long someone has been actively supporting the channel. And there's been a lot of great videos that over the last couple of weeks that I have released that have been channel member exclusive videos. We also did a channel member exclusive live stream a couple of weeks ago. So there are other things that you get as perks for supporting the channel. But one of the fun ones are these milestone messages. So if you have that at your disposal, make sure that you use it tonight so that I can thank you for however many months you've been supporting the channel. Now let me get to the regular comments here. Scroll to the top. Gary Carpenter's here. Hey, Gary, good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, Adrian James. Always a treat to have Adrian join us. Folks just saying hello back and forth. I love it when people arrive early. Hopefully you enjoyed the song. It's one of my favorites. My Girlfriend is a Sleestack. Played that just as background music while everybody was waiting. Lance says Dave is doing I think Dave is doing a Remind giveaway tonight. That is absolutely true. There's the latest issue of Remind magazine. What's the month? It's September, right? September 2025 issue. This one's focusing on 1975. Of course, there you got Gabe Kaplan on the cover, along with, we got Starsky and Hutch. Linda Carter there as Wonder Woman. Says, welcome back to 1975, the TV shows that defined the year. Man, I love this magazine. And many of you that are supporters of the channel know that I am also a contributor to Remind Magazine and write for their online website. But yes, we will be giving away an annual subscription to Remind Magazine later on tonight, right before we do science fiction, TV. How am I going to phrase this? Science fiction TV show from the 70s trivia. Let's see. Who else is hanging out with us? There's Ken Wilkinson. Yesterday was Bob's anniversary. Well, his wedding anniversary? How cool is that? Bob's a great guy, a.k.a. Thrash Pondo Pawns. And I hope he and Ms. Thrash Pondo had a great evening. Hopefully he took her out on the town and wined and dined her. Johnny Burnett says hello. Hey, John, good to have you with us. Ernest Cruz is here. Hey, there's Laura Smith. She says, I really need something just like this right now. Well, we are tickled to have you with us hanging out tonight. Lance reminds everybody to hit the thumbs up button. Please do so. That would be great. Nick Mamonas is in the house. Hey, Nick, good to have you here. And let's see, Scott Barnes. Scott, we got to get cracking on our next Wide World of Sodas. I promise I will text you after the live stream tonight. Know you're a busy guy, but we got to find time. I've got sodas chilling in the fridge. I think some you gave me, and I picked up a couple for future episodes too. So we've got to get rolling. Rocking and rolling on our next episode. Man known only as Jeff. Good to have you here with us. Boy, if I miss anybody, I'm sorry. That's not my intent. I might just, James, I think I said hello to you. And Adrian, I hope I said hello to you. If not, I'm hitting you both now. Rachel in the 208 is here. Hey, good to have you with us, Rachel. Let's see. Rachel says, I liked Matthew Starr. I didn't even think about Matthew Starr. That's another great sci-fi show from the 70s. Right. It's not space exploration, but that was a good one. Sticksboy73 says, Doctor Who is my go-to 60s and 70s sci-fi show. Another good one. I didn't get into Doctor Who until later on, just recently, like maybe a decade or so ago, when my oldest son started watching the more modern version of that show. Scrolling through, just trying to make sure I get everybody. Robert Vance says, I'm a huge fan of the original Battlestar Galactica. And it's a shame Rick Springfield's character died early. R.I.P. Zach, Apollo's little brother. Dang old Cylons. Yeah. What a tragedy that was, right? What a tragedy. Lance says, love Bigfoot and the Death Probe. Well, we will be talking about the Death Probe tonight, Lance. Channel member Palfrey's Gambit says, you can't beat the two best Doctor Who's, all from the 70s, John Aperture and Tom Baker. Channel member Sarah, My Flock is Everywhere, says, hit that thumbs up and share out and comment. Thank you so much for reminding everybody of that. Karen Lester, hello. Good to have you with us. Great to have you with us tonight. Robert Vance says, I have the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman DVD sets. I love them. Best way to watch that stuff is on DVD. I know. You have to actually stand up. You have to go get the case. You have to take it out of the case. You have to bend down, put it in the DVD player. All such a huge inconvenience in this era of streaming. But you know what? It's worth it. It is worth it. Great. Scott says, never too busy for Wide World of Sodas. So glad to hear, because we need to get that one done. I don't know whether we have a planning lunch first, because I love having planning lunches with you, or if we just talk through text. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh, look at this. We've got channel member John Collins using his milestone message. He says, and John, by the way, the granddaddy of all channel members, 47 months, almost 4 years. He says, I'm here. Absolutely anything is psychedelically strange and weird. Thank you for the recommendation. However, Dave, ... Oh, you watched Absolutely Anything, the movie. Yes, starring Simon Pegg. It is strange and weird. And I think, hopefully, this was one of the videos that went out to all channel members a couple days ago, where I talked about what I'd watched the prior week. The reason I recommended Absolutely Anything was because of the work of, it was Monty Python, as far as the comedic troupe, all performing together, their final film role. And it was also Robin Williams' final film role. All of these were voiceovers. It's a science fiction show. It's very lightweight. It's very throwaway. It's easily forgettable. Simon Pegg is fun to watch. But, yeah. Hopefully it wasn't, hopefully you enjoyed it a little bit. And thank you so much for all your support, John. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Sticksboy73 says, Pertwee was my first doctor. Tammy Patton says, hello. Laura Smith says, please don't taunt me or challenge me regarding Battlestar Galactica 78. It is still leading the poll. Let me see how we're doing on this poll here. How many people do we have? I can't tell how many people have been. 45 votes. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica still heads and tails above the other candidates, 47%. Okay. Patrick Trofton. I don't know who that is, Tracy. I'm going to have to look that up. Was that related to the Doctor Who conversation? I must admit I'm something of a neophyte when it comes to Doctor Who. Gary Carpenter says Tom Baker was in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. Was not Jane Seymour as well? Or was that a different Sinbad movie, the one with Patrick Wayne? Let's see. Nick Momona says, I liked the first season of Buck Rogers. The second I didn't think was as good. Well, it certainly wasn't as much fun, right? Channel member Palfrey's Gambit says, The Secrets of Isis. Oh, what a wonderful show that was. Joanna Cameron as Isis. Great, great show. Adrian James says Logan's Run TV series I remember watching. Yeah, that was a 77, I want to say. 77 or 78. Kind of turned into the Adventure of the Week show. It starred Gregory Harrison and Heather Menzies. Donald something or other played a character. I think he's one of our trivia questions tonight, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's see. Robert Vance says, amen. Just like the old days before remotes and I had to get up and change the channel on Mom's big old floor model Magnavox. Yeah, I mean, no wonder we were skinnier back in the old days, right? We actually had to get up and do things to watch our television. Oh, another great one. Nick Mamonis says, I also liked Arc 2. So did I. Let's see. Logan's Run did not last very long. Phil Cockram's here. Says, hey, Dave Sundstrom and everyone. Kenneth Wilkinson, continuing on the conversation about Doctor Who, says William Hartnell was the first Doctor. James Dye points out that the whole Logan's Run series was on YouTube for a while. The question is it still? Channel member Lance Chaffin says, Quark. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Far Out Space Nuts, Arc 2, Jason of Star Command, and The Fantastic Voyage. Fantastic Voyage was great. Roddy McDowell, Ike Eisenman. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Sticksboy73 says, I recommend The Star Lost, Canadian sci-fi show. I've never seen it. You say it's available on Roku? I'm a watching. Hey, it's Sakina McMurrin. Welcome, Sakina. Oh, Lost Saucer. Gary, great suggestion. Lots of fun with Jim Neighbors and Ruth Buzzy. Herbert Turner says, anyone remember the series Quark? Here's where we stop for a minute and remember the series Quark together. If I can find the video. Here we go.
The premise of Quark, which was created by Get Smart's Buck Henry, is fairly simple. Richard Benjamin played Adam Quark, the captain of a United Galaxy sanitation patrol cruiser, an interstellar garbage scow that goes around collecting space baggies. Of course, along the way, Quark and his crew had all sorts of crazy adventures, only semi-related to their primary mission.
On Quark, will Ficus become his planet-law? Will Quark become his dinner?
Can't you talk to him, Adam? He's not here to chat. He's here to eat.
Friday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Speaking of Quark's crew, they were a pretty interesting lot. You had the two Bettys. One of them was a clone, but neither of them knew which was which. And then you had Gene, who was played by the great Tim Thomerson, who was a transmute, meaning that he was both genders. And then there was Conrad Janis. Yep, the future father of Mindy O'Connell was also on this show as Otto Palindrome, the commander who Quark received his assignments from. But for whatever reason, I thought this guy, Ficus, was the coolest member of the crew. Although he had a human form, Ficus was plant-based, which allowed him to regrow body parts if one was lost. Richard was so great as this character. Truthfully, even though Ficus was very different, he reminded me a little bit of Mr. Spock from Star Trek. Including its 1977 premiere, Quark ran for 8 brief episodes and was canceled by the network just 2 months after the show began appearing on a weekly basis in 1978. It's really too bad because the humor on the show was very reminiscent of Henry's earlier work on Get Smart. One can't help but feel that if the show had been given a chance to build an audience, it could have been a real rating success.
Jerry Gillespie's here. Hey, Jerry, good to have you with us. Yeah, I thought it might be a Doctor Who that you were talking about there, Tracy. Yeah, like I said, I'm a neophyte when it comes to that stuff. Let's see. John Bernstein says, I liked Future Cop. There you go. That's a good show. Was that a 70s show? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Tammy Patton says Patrick Troughton was the second Doctor. His grandson was in the Harry Potter movies. Oh, that's cool. Hey, look at this. BK on the air. Speaking of people I need to get back on a live stream with me, Barry, we've got to do our next, we got to do a new adventures video here in the not too distant future. I think we're still supposed to do one on perfume commercials. I remember that from a conversation way ways back, but we can figure out what we want to do. But so great to have you here this evening, Barry King. Love having you as one of my friends. So it's cool to have folks like Scott Barnes, who I've known for years and years, decades, in fact, pop in. And then Barry, someone who I've gotten to know over the past 5 or so years. And then all of you. I just feel like I'm talking to friends. What am I talking about? Robert Vance says, I still have my Battlestar Galactica comic book called Annihilation. And yes, Springfield is a cartoon. Was that the Marvel version of Battlestar Galactica or a later version on a different comic book label? Folks saying hi to Barry. Sakina says, I loved Space 1999. John Collins, channel member John Collins, says, everybody, please remember to comment on Dave's presentations. He's always very good about responding and coming back to comments. You will enjoy the interaction, and it's free. Become a member. Why not? Why not? Love the engagement. The reason I publish videos is for that engagement. It's, I'm sharing this love of the good stuff. There's no better way to describe it than that, but we're talking about classic programming, whether it's TV shows, movies, or music from decades gone by. Jerry Gillespie says, you don't have a favorite sci-fi show unless you count Wonder Woman. That's why I said space show. And I know there were some episodes of Wonder Woman, particularly when she moved to CBS, that had visitors from another planet, from outer space. But the YouTube polling system only gives me the opportunity to put in 4 choices. And so I had to whittle it down to space exploration. BK on the air says Space 1999, my favorite 70s sci-fi, second only to the original Trek. And that's another show that I've caught a couple of episodes, but I want to go back and watch that entire first season of Space 1999. I feel like I owe myself that. Phil Cockrum says, I have the original Battlestar Galactica box set with the Cylon mask unopened. Very cool. But you know what? Crack her open. Watch a few episodes. You deserve it, Phil. You deserve it. I know us collectors, and I've got some that are unopened back there too, but we need to take advantage of that stuff. R.I.P. Ruth Buzzy. Channel member Tracy Roth Myers is asking, oh, that's right, she did die. I'd forgotten about that. She did pass away a couple months ago. Oh, time flies. Salvage One, another good one, although I don't really think of it necessarily. It has sci-fi elements to it. And then it has Andy Griffith elements to it as well. Loved that show. Sad that that show has never been available as a DVD box set. There's a bootleg version out there, but as an actual official, like remastered box, DVD box set, not out there. Never has been. Johnny Burnett says Star Trek the Animated blah, 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 blah. Let me try this again. Star Trek the Animated Series was on NBC for 2 seasons between 1973 and 1974. Only 22 episodes done by Filmation. Yeah. Filmation really upped their game for Star Trek the Animated Series. They did a great job of really providing additional adventures of that original 5-year mission. Richard Benjamin was great. Jerry Gillespie says, I don't remember Richard Benjamin in Quark. I think it only aired like 8 episodes, something like that, before the network canceled it. But I loved his show in the 60s called He and She. His co-star was real-life wife Paula Prentice, who he later starred in the movie Saturday the 14th with. Show was ahead of its time. Channel member Palfrey's Gambit says the last season of Night Gallery and Dark Shadows spilled over into the 70s. Indeed, it did. Gary Carpenter says, James, he was in the movie Love at First Bite. Not sure who we're talking about there. Davey Superstar says, second season of Buck Rogers was easily my fave. The addition of Hawk and his awesome ship was great. Much preferred by me over the first season. You know what? I love that there are fans of the second season out there. I respect the second season. I adore the first season just for the fun that it was. I didn't think the second season had that same just sense of whimsy and fun and fantastical that the first season had. And a lot of that had to do with the changing of the guard, a new showrunner running the second season of the show, the former showrunner of Gunsmoke, of all things. But yeah, I respect the second season of Buck Rogers. Oh, let's see. Oh, Future Cop was a 70s TV show, says Herbert Turner. Android Cop teams with two vet cops. I think I have seen a trailer for that, but I never watched an episode of it. Angelique says perfume commercials. I'm so there. I remember the Angelique commercial very well. Yeah, there were some good ones, especially in the 70s. I think Barry and I could have a really good time sharing a few of our favorites and talking through a few that maybe are kind of unique and rare to us. Marvel, the Battlestar Galactica Marvel series, a great one. I have a handful of those issues as well. Adrian James says, here in the UK, we had Blake 7. I remember that show. I've never seen an episode, but I've read about it and heard good things about it. And it's one I probably should do some more research on as well. Maybe a video on it. John Bernstein said this was another UK one, right? The Tomorrow People? I think so. Lance Chaffin, channel member Lance Chaffin, says 44 people in here visiting, but only 33 likes. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. James Dye points out that there were two versions of the Battlestar Galactica box set, one with the gold Cylon and one with a silver Cylon. That's how they get the collectors, right there. Channel member John Collins says, Dave, you are my number one YouTuber, except the Bears are back on halftime is over. See you later, sir, and everyone. Yeah, go Bears. Enjoy that football game, John. Planet of the Apes cartoon. That was a great cartoon in the early 70s. Flash Gordon was a cartoon in the late 70s. Was that Filmation? I think it was Filmation as well. Holmes and Yo-Yo. John Shuck. I remember that one. I'm trying to get caught up, and then we'll get we'll watch another video here. So maybe some commercials. I feel like showing some vintage commercials. Let's see. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, I remember Richard Benjamin being in the movie Heaven Can Wait. Yeah. Was he in Heaven Can Wait? I remember Charles Grodin being in that one. That's another show I need to watch again. It's been a long time since I've seen Heaven Can Wait. Diane Cannon, Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, Charles Grodin. Do I remember seeing Richard Benjamin in there? You guys tell me. Who did he play in Heaven Can Wait? Let's see. Angelique says, I remember Love at First Bite, also featuring Artie Johnson. Yeah, George Hamilton, Susan St. James. Let's see. High Karate Cologne, yes. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says, Angelique, the Jeffersons were in the movie. Louise was a judge and George was a preacher. Not sure which movie we're talking about there. Let's see. September 6th. Happy anniversary, Star Trek. Yes, Star Trek Day was on September 6th. A couple days ago. And let's see. I think September 8th was Star Trek Day. Okay. I got an email today from Paramount saying today was Star Trek Day, but I have been so busy doing other things that I believed you when you said September 6th. Project UFO, that's a fun one. Jack Webb produced show. Had the guy that trying to remember his name. The actor in MASH. There was always the nutty. What was his name? Oh my gosh. That's what happens when you're doing a live stream. Sometimes you get these brain cramps. Help me out. The guy that was in Project UFO was also in MASH. Oh, I'm just going to look it up myself. Project UFO, MASH. Oh, what was his name? Edward Winter, of course. And he's best known for playing, what is his name? Colonel Flag. Yep. Colonel Flag. A fan favorite if you're a MASH fan. Yeah, I think you're probably thinking of Charles Grodin, Tracy. Ward Arcade says, remember the Star Trek cartoon in the 70s with almost all of the OS performers? Walter Koenig was the exception, I believe. And he wrote an episode of that show. Nope. Edward Winter is who I'm thinking of. Edward Winter. Colonel Flag, thank you, Herbert. Okay, I am caught up. So let's do some vintage commercials. We're 30 minutes in. It feels like the right thing to do. Give me a little bit of a brain break as well. Here we go.
Turn us on, we'll turn you on.
Turn on to Priscilla Barnes and Deborah Klinger, those freewheeling American girls. Two investigative reporters for a TV news magazine, traveling the country covering stories and always causing headaches for their producer. There's danger, jeopardy, adventure. The American Girls, starting this fall. Television never looked so good.
Turn us on, and we'll turn you on.
Disco Danny, king of the hustle. I see you chew a lot of gum.
Sure, Trident.
Why Trident?
It tastes great and it's sugarless. Gotta watch my step.
Well, you know, 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed recommend sugarless gum for their patients who chew gum. Any other reason?
Like the minty flavor?
Like, is it the only gum your mom lets you chew?
Are you kidding?
Trident sugarless gum. Your teeth never outgrow it. What you doing, Charlie?
Being a connoisseur.
That's water.
Right. Take it back. Too wet. Us connoisseurs send everything back to show the waiter our good taste. Right, Starkist?
Starkist doesn't want tunas with good taste. Starkist wants tunas that taste good.
Sorry, Charlie. Only good-tasting tuna get to be Star-kissed. Like good-tasting 100% chunk-light tuna fillet, packed in spring water.
Get good taste. Get Star-kissed.
Be careful. All right. Come on, buddy boy. Thank you. Hey, Jack. My wallet.
You lose your wallet on vacation.
You see it?
You have no cash, no credit cards, nothing. What'll you do? What will you do? Rely on American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost, you can get a full refund at over 60,000 places. American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
Thinking back to 1978's Battlestar Galactica, for a 14-year-old kid, this show was almost as good as Star Wars. A ragtag fleet of human survivors looking for a planet inhabited by the lost 13th tribe. And could that 13th tribe be Earth? Only time would tell. Quick sidebar to say that I just absolutely loved the amazing Frank Frazetta artwork that was used to promote the first few episodes. Back then, you rarely saw this kind of stuff in TV Guide. Let's talk for a moment about Dirk Benedict in Battlestar Galactica. His Starbuck character was a lovable rogue, a little bit like Han Solo, Brett Maverick, Eddie Haskell, and the Fonz all mashed up into one really cool character. It was Dirk whose appearance in the final episode of Galactica 1980 somehow managed to erase much of the trauma that spin-off series had caused. We're back. Okay, Battlestar Galactica continues to lead the poll with 53% of all votes. Let me see, we've gotten 58 votes so far, so 53% of them say Battlestar Galactica. Interestingly, all of the other choices have 16%. So, very cool. Battlestar Galactica, one of my favorites, the OG, of course, from 1978. So here's what we're going to do. We're a half hour in. I'm going to not be reading as many comments as I have in the past, or at least over the last half hour, because we're going to get ready and do a couple of things. I mentioned I'd gotten the new issue of Remind magazine, and I think Lance in the chat had mentioned that we're giving away an annual subscription to Remind magazine. Now is the time to put hashtag Remind in the chat. Let me see if I can. Let's do this. Let's share my screen. There we go. Hashtag Remind. That's what I need folks to put in the chat. Adrian James wants to know if I was a fan of Supertramp. I like some of their songs. I know that the one of the main band members passed away either yesterday or early today, which is too bad. It's but we're seeing this is going to be a very common thing that we encounter week after week as we all get older. We're going to see some folks leave us, and I propose. I'm going to go full screen here for a minute. I propose that when it comes to these celebrities that are leaving us, that we celebrate them. We can mourn, but let's only do it briefly, and then let's celebrate all the gifts that they left behind. All right, so we've got 14 entries in so far. I'm going to give folks about a minute or so to go ahead and get their entries in. Hashtag Remind is the key. What can I play? How about I play a Buck Rogers promo? That's probably it. We're going to play a Buck Rogers promo, and then we're going to give away that annual subscription. Here we go.
Thursday on a special 2-hour Buck Rogers, a sorcerer plots to conquer the earth. His weapon, an army of slave women. And it's up to Buck to stop him.
I've got a reputation to uphold too, you know.
Starring Gil Gerard with Jack Palance. And returning to action, Buster Crabbe. Buck Rogers, Thursday.
Yes! Buster Crabbe! That was one of my favorite episodes when I was younger. Loved that episode. Of course, you had Jack Palance in there as well. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about the fun of the first season of Buck Rogers. It doesn't get any better than that, folks. It does not get any better. Okay, 15 entries into the Remind magazine giveaway. Yep, we're giving away an annual subscription to this magazine. Individual price for a single copy of Remind magazine now is $5.99 at the newsstand, if you can find it at the newsstand. So this is actually a pretty darn big value. While Remind magazine is not an actual sponsor here, they're not paying me anything. They are a fantastic partner, and huge thank you goes out to Barb Oates, who's my friend and colleague over there at Remind magazine, and I truly appreciate her and all she has done for this channel. All right, 15 entries. Let's see who our winner is tonight. I should probably put that back on the screen, huh? So you guys can all see that. There's our winner, Tammy Patton. Tammy, congratulations. That is so awesome. I am tickled that you are our winner tonight. Let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. Where's my email address? Right there. Tammy, if you would be so kind to send me an email, and if I'm only going to leave this up momentarily, but you can always go back and rewind and get to this point and write down that email address if you don't have pen and paper handy right at the moment. But send me a message. Just say, hey, Dave, won the magazine subscription, and here's my whatever name you want, plus your physical address. And congratulations. That is awesome. Truly awesome. Okay. What are we going to do here? Let me go here. I'm going to make sure I don't have any more milestone messages, no super chats. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to watch another batch of commercials from the late 70s, and then we're going to play trivia. I've got 25 25 questions related to 70s science fiction television. I think one of them might be a 60s question. I asked Gemini. I asked AI to help me build this, so we'll see how this all works out. But in the meantime, let's watch a few more vintage commercials, and then we'll come back and play some trivia. One of my favorite things to do. Let's see. Here we go.
Burger King presents 4 bright, colorful Star Wars glasses.
Hey, it's Luke Skywalker.
And the princess.
Gee, wow!
Get your kids a different Star Wars glass each week. Buy a regular serving of Coke for 59 cents plus tax. Get Chewbacca. Get Darth Vader. R2-D2 and C-3PO.
What mission are you talking about?
We can get all 4.
Star Wars glasses at Burger King until August 17th.
The Diet Right Cola Bill of Rights. You have the right to bear arms and bare legs and even bare tummies. The right to feel secure in your tight jeans. And above all, to pursue these rights, you have the right to a 1-calorie cola with real cola taste. Diet Right.
Demand your right to the taste, the real cola taste. Diet Right. Demand that 1-calorie real cola taste. Demand your right. Diet Right.
Help! I need a stronger trash bag, one that resists tears and rips better.
Yes. Well, now Hefty has it. Hefty's new 2-ply bonding system gives you a bag made from 2 different kinds of plastic. See, there's a tough outside layer designed to resist tears up and down, plus an inside layer for strength side to side. The 2 plies are bonded together. 2 plies add up to 1 stronger Hefty bag. New Hefty 2-ply.
Morris, your horoscope's divine.
What do the stars know?
Listen, new experience forthcoming. It's true. There's something new for Din Din.
Did the stars forget I'm finicky?
It's 9 lives. New beef and liver.
The moroscope says check that out. Wow, 9 lives.
New beef and liver from 9 Lives. Nutritious foods cats really like, even Morris.
9 lives? It's what's in the dish, not the stars.
All right, trivia's coming up, but first, a huge thank you to Dolph Quick, who dropped a very cool super sticker into the chat. Dolph probably recognized that I'm not drinking Diet Coke tonight, and that $2 would go a long way towards rectifying that on a future live stream. Thank you so much, my friend. Truly appreciate it. All right, let's get the trivia up on the screen here. No, that's not what I want to do. Let's try. Let's see. Share screen. There we go. Let's see how this works out. There we go. How's the vision? Is everybody able to see that? Hopefully you can. I'm going to take myself off screen, at least momentarily, so that everybody can see it. Question number 1. In the $6 Million Man, what was the name of the government organization that employed Colonel Steve Austin? Was it A, the Department of Advanced Technology, B, the Office of Scientific Intelligence, C, the United Intelligence Agency, or D, the Strategic Defense Command? I'm going to go ahead and get the timer going. We're talking about the $6 Million Man here. Steve worked for a certain government organization. Was it the Department of Advanced Technology, the Office of Scientific Intelligence, the United Intelligence Agency, or the Strategic Defense Command? As long as none of them are the Department of War, I'm A-okay with it. All right, let's take that off the screen. And let's go ahead and see what the answer is. I'm going to answer it myself. I've already played this game. I missed 3, by the way, out of the 25. 22 out of 25. But I got this one right. It's OSI. Oh, hang on a second. OSI. That's right, OSI was a fictional United States government office that utilized Steve Austin's bionic abilities for top secret missions, and OSI was led by one Oscar Goldman. Next question. What title was given to the 2-hour television pilot for the original Battlestar Galactica series? Was it The Last Colonial, or B, Saga of a Star World, or C, The Human Exodus, or D, Lost Planet of the Gods? 30 seconds on the timer. We'll check scores after, let's go after every, I don't know, let's do every 10, and then we'll get a final score at the 25 mark. So we'll just zip through these as quickly as possible. What was the name of the 2-hour television pilot for Battlestar Galactica? Timer off the screen. I chose, and I believe it is correct, Saga of a Star World. That says, our Genesis or Gemini tells us that's right. The theatrical and television pilot for the original series was titled Saga of a Star World, which introduced the audience to the fleet's journey. It should say Ragtag Fleet's journey. All right, let's keep rocking and a-rolling. Next question. In the TV series Logan's Run, what was the age limit at which citizens had to report for carousel to be renewed? Was it A, 21 years, B, 40 years, C, 50 years, or D, 30 years? Timer engaged. The question is, again, in the TV series based on Logan's Run, what was the age limit at which citizens had to report for carousel to be renewed? Was it 21 years old? That's choice A. B is 40 years old. C is 50 years old. Or D is 30 years old. This is a tougher question. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's one that I missed. Probably because I've read the book. And in the book, it's 21 years old. If I were to select that one, I would be told that that's not quite right, that the age limit was higher in the TV series. The correct answer, as you can see, is D, 30 years old. The TV series maintained the age limit of 30 from the film, which was the age at which citizens were expected to die and be renewed in the ritual of carousel. Next question. In Space 1999, the series follows the crew of what location after it's blasted from Earth's orbit? Your choices are A, Alpha Centauri Station, B, Moonbase Alpha, C, Jupiter Station, or D, Galactica. Timer engaged. The question again is, in Space 1999, the series follows the crew of what location after it's blasted out of Earth's orbit? Your choices are A, Alpha Centauri Station, B, Moonbase Alpha, C, Jupiter Station, or D, Galactica. Coming back on screen for a minute here while we let the timer wind down. And I chose, when I played this earlier today, Moonbase Alpha and got it right. It says the series premise revolves around the inhabitants of Moonbase Alpha, a lunar scientific colony, as their moon is hurled into deep space. Moving on to question 5. In the opening sequence of Land of the Lost, the Marshall family is transported to a prehistoric-like land after falling down a waterfall during an earthquake on a rafting trip. Better go full screen here. What was the father's name? Was it A, Mark, B, Jack, C, Rick, D, Will? Timer engaged. Again, we're talking about Land of the Lost. Everybody remembers that wonderful theme song and the Marshall family falling down the waterfall into that Land of the Lost. What was the father's name? Doesn't actually tell you in the theme song. They say Marshall, Will, and Holly. So your choices are A, Mark, B, Jack, C, Rick, D, Will. If you only ever watched the 3rd season, you might pick one of these. Take this off the screen. You might select B, Jack, but the correct answer is C, Rick. The great actor Spencer Milligan played Rick Marshall, the father of the family who are stranded in a world with dinosaurs and strange creatures. All right. Question 6. In the Incredible Hulk TV series, the main character's name was changed from his comic book alter ego, Bruce Banner. What was his new first name? Your choices are A, Paul, B, David, C, Stephen, D, Robert. Timer engaged. We're talking about the Incredible Hulk TV series. And one of the changes that they made was the name of the scientist who transforms into the Hulk. In the comics, it's Bruce Banner. However, in the TV show, he has a new first name. Your choices are A, Paul, B, David, C, Stephen, or D, Robert. What's it going to be, folks? I'm going to take the timer off the screen. This is kind of an easy one. Let's go ahead and answer it. It's B, David. David Bruce Banner. It says the character's name was changed from Bruce to David Banner for the television series to make it seem less like a comic book, although Bruce was retained as his middle name. Question 7. Which major motion picture is credited with inspiring Universal to develop a television series based on the character Buck Rogers? Your choices are A, Blade Runner, B, Alien, C, Star Wars, or D, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Timer engaged. What major motion picture? I think this is another easy one. Is credited with inspiring Universal and producer Glenn A. Larson to develop a television series based on the character Buck Rogers? Was it A, Blade Runner, B, Alien, C, Star Wars, or D, 2001, A Space Odyssey? Open the pod bay doors, Hal. Your choice, or the correct answer is C. All right, it says that's right. Universal and NBC saw the commercial success of Star Wars and wanted to capitalize on the public's interest in space opera, and Glenn Larson wanted to reuse some of Battlestar Galactica's sets. He was always one for trying to reuse props and sets. 8. The $6 Million Man spawned a successful spin-off series. What was its title? Your choices are A, The Bionic Man, B, The Bionic Boy, C, The Bionic Woman, or D, The Bionic Family. Timer engaged. Steve Austin, barely alive, spawned a successful spin-off series. What was its title? Your choices are A, The Bionic Man, B, The Bionic Boy, C, Bionic Woman, or D, The Bionic Family. You know what? Gemini's given us some pretty easy peasy ones. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be proud of my 22 out of 25 score, but I am. Correct answer here is Bionic Woman. Gemini says that's right. The show's success led to the spinoff, The Bionic Woman, first on ABC. It doesn't say that, but we're going to say that. And then moved over to NBC. It featured Jamie Summers, played by the great Lindsay Wagner, who also had bionic implants. All right, question number 9. The original Battlestar Galactica pilot was so expensive that it was released theatrically in some countries. What was the budget for the pilot? Your choices are A, $3 million, B, $1 million, C, $10 million, or D, $7 million. Timer engaged. Again, we're talking about that 2-hour Battlestar Galactica pilot. So expensive it was that it was released theatrical in many countries. In Censor Round, of all things. In Censor Round. What was the budget for the pilot? Your choices are $3 million, $1 million, $10 million, and $7 million. We'll give folks a few more seconds. I'm going full screen. Loved Battlestar Galactica movie. I went and saw it in the theater a handful of times, but never saw it in Censor Round. Wasn't in the cards for me, but I did see it on the big screen many times at a dollar theater of all places. All right, let's get back to our trivia. There we go. I'm going to do that for a minute. That gives us a bigger screen for the questions. And can I make the screen any bigger? Let's see. I worry that that's going to cut some stuff off, but we'll give that a try for a minute. Correct answer, I believe, is $7 million. Yeah, that's right. The original pilot saga of A Star World had a budget of $7 million, making it the most expensive pilot for a U.S. TV show at the time. All right, next question, number 10. Then we'll get scores. In the TV version of Logan's Run, Logan and Jessica are joined by an android companion. What was its name? And your choices are A, Rem, B, Twiki, C, Mork, or D, Box. Timer engaged. In the TV version of Logan's Run, Logan and Jessica are joined by an android companion. What was its name? Your choices are A, Rem, B, Twiki, C, Mork, or D, Box. Folks, I'm losing my voice. I think we're only going to do 20 questions. So we'll get scores here in just a minute, and we'll do another 10 for those that want to stick around. Those that don't, you can just think of it as a 10-question trivia night. But we will do 10 more questions. Correct answer, folks, is Rem. Logan and Jessica were joined by an android named Rem. It stands for Reflective Electronic Man in the television series. Next, we're going to stop right there, and I'm going to get some scores. So let me go full screen for a minute. All right, folks, let me scroll down to the bottom here. Oh my gosh, so much here. Let's see. Okay. I think this is the first one. If I miss somebody, my apologies. Channel member Mike D's 8 of 10. Ken Wilkinson, 6 of 10. Keena McMurrin, 8 of 10. Gary Carpenter, 8 of 10. Ward Arcade, 9 of 10. James Dye, rocking a perfect night so far. 10 of 10. Dolph Quick, 9 of 10. That's good karma for the super chat, my friend. Thanks again. John Bernstein, 7 of 10. 8 of 10 for Phil Cochran. Man known only as Jeff is 9 of 10. Ernest Cruz is 7 of 10. John Gillespie's 9 of 10. Karen Lester is 7 of 10. Let's see. Channel member Mike D says, but yesterday was 7 of 9. Tammy Patton says, I do not remember my score, but I think I was 7 out of 10. That sounds about right. James Dye says, this is my wheelhouse. Robert Vance, 7 of 10. Ward Arcade's taken off. Nicely done, Ward. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Rachel in the 208 is going to play later. Awesome. I love it when people play on the replay. Herbert Turner is 7 of 10. Any other scores? I'm going to wait just a second or two more if there's any more scores to be shared. And then we're going to go on to question number 11. I don't see anything else, so let's continue on. Here we go. Hey, take care, Ernest. Great to have you with us tonight. Question 11. The plot of Space 1999 begins with a nuclear waste dump on the moon. When a nuclear waste dump on the moon explodes, knocking the moon out of Earth's orbit. What year does this event take place in the show's timeline? Your choices are A, 1975, B, 1999, C, 2001, or D, 2050. We'll go ahead and start the timer. Again, we're talking about Space 1999. There's a nuclear waste dump on the moon, and it explodes, and it knocks the moon out of the Earth's orbit. What year does this event take place in the timeline of the show Space 1999? Your choices are A, 1975, B, 1999, C, 2001, or D, 2050. Take the timer off the screen. The correct answer is, of course, 1999. Gemini says, that's right. The show's title is a direct reference to the year the moon is blasted out of orbit. Next question. In Land of the Lost, what was the name of the species of lizard men that the Marshall family frequently encountered? If you were here early tonight, well, you heard a song about this species of lizard men. Your choices are A, the Gorn, B, Zarn, C, Sleestak, or D, the Pakuni. Timer engaged. Again, we're talking about Land of the Lost. And there's these creepy lizard people in this show. And the Marshall family are frequently chased around by them. What are they called? Are they called Gorn? That's A. B. Zarn. C. Sleestack. Or D. Pakuni. Get your choices in the chat or lock them in your noggin, whatever works best for you. I'm going to take the timer off the screen. The correct answer, of course, is, much like the song, my girlfriend is a Sleestack. Yep, the Sleestack were the aggressive humanoid lizard creatures that the Marshall family frequently had to evade. Question 13. Who was the bodybuilder and actor who portrayed the Hulk in the 1970s TV series? Your choices are A. David Prowse, B. Arnold Schwarzenegger, C. Lou Ferrigno, or D. Richard Kiel. Timer engaged. Again, the question is, there's this bodybuilder guy, and he wanted to be an actor, and he got the gig of a lifetime playing the Incredible Hulk in the 1970s TV series. Your choices are, was it A. David Prowse, B. Arnold Schwarzenegger, C. Lou Ferrigno, or D. Richard Kiel? Just a few seconds left on the timer. Well, we can eliminate Dave Prowse because that was Darth Vader. Arnold, no, wasn't him. And Richard Kiel, he played Jaws. So it's got to be Lou Ferrigno. Yep. Lou Ferrigno, a professional bodybuilder, famously played the Green Skid Hulk in the TV show, while Bill Bixby played his alter ego, David Bruce Banner. Next question. In Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, what was Buck's profession at the time that he was frozen in suspended animation? Your choices are A, astronaut, B, explorer, C, scientist, or D, military officer. Get that timer engaged if I can get over to it. There we go. And again, talking about one of my favorite TV shows from the 70s, starring Gil Gerard, Aaron Gray, Pamela Hemsley. Oh, so many wonderful actors. The guest starred on the show, Jack Palance, Jamie Lee Curtis, Buster Crabbe, Julie Newmar, Frank Gorshin, Cesar Romero. Or a bunch, right? Your choices are, what was Buck at the time that he was frozen in suspended animation? Was he A, an astronaut, B, an explorer, C, a scientist, or D, a military officer? Yep, Buck was an astronaut. A, Buck was a NASA pilot on the Ranger 3 spacecraft, which was launched in May of 1987 and was accidentally frozen in space, for 504 years. All right, next question. Question number 15. The $6 Million Man was based on a 1972 novel. What was the name of the book? Your choices are A, The Human Factor, B, The Man of Steel, C, Bionic Man, or D, Cyborg. Timer engaged. The $6 Million Man was based on a 1972 novel. What was the name of the book? Your choices are A, The Human Factor, B, The Man of Steel, C, The Bionic Man, or D, Cyborg. I'm going to take the timer off the screen here for a minute. We're going to go full screen. And just pop into the chat. I want to make sure that I've taken care of everything. I have not, because Mike D dropped a super sticker in the chat as well. Holy cow, Mike. You're already a channel member. You just do so much to support this channel, and I truly appreciate you. Thanks for all you do, my friend, and thank you so much for that super sticker. Hey, I may get a burger along with that Diet Coke. Thanks to both Dolph Quick and Mike D. Truly appreciated. Let me go ahead and take that back off the screen and get back to our trivia. There we go. Of course, the question, Martin Caidin, I think, was the author, if I remember correctly, and the book he wrote was called Cyborg. Yep, there we go. The show was an adaptation of Martin Caidin's 1972 novel Cyborg, which introduced the character of Steve Austin. I haven't read the book, but I believe Steve Austin was more of a James Bondish type character in the book itself. Maybe less of a good guy. I'm trying to, just things I'd heard. I have not read it. All right. Number 16, in Battlestar Galactica, what was the name of the robotic race that launched a surprise attack on the 12 colonies and killed poor Zach, Apollo's brother? Were they A, replicators, B, Borg, C, Cylons, or D, Terminators? Yes, they killed Rick Springfield. That's who played Zach in that opening two-part movie / TV episode. Starting the timer, in Battlestar Galactica, what was the name of the robotic race that launched a surprise attack on the 12 colonies? Were they A, replicators, B, Borg, C, Cylons, or D, Terminators? I think I've given everybody enough time on this one. We'll wait. Correct answer is Cylons, of course. The Cylons are the robotic enemies of the human race in the original Battlestar Galactica television series. Question number 17. The TV series Logan's Run kept the domed city from the film but added a key difference. What was it? Your choices. This is a tougher question. I missed this one, if I remember right. Your choices are A, the city was no longer domed. B, the city was run by a supercomputer. C, the city was secretly run by a group of older citizens. Or D, the city was no longer a safe haven. Timer engaged. We're talking Logan's Run here. The TV series had a domed city from the film. It kept that part, that element, but added a key difference. What was it? Your choices are A, the city was no longer domed. B, the city was run by a supercomputer. C, the city was secretly run by a group of older citizens. Or D, the city was no longer a safe haven. And I think I chose this one. The city was run by a supercomputer. I should have, it's in both the movie and the TV show, but the correct answer is C, the city was run by a group of older citizens. Gemini goes on to say the TV series changed the plot slightly by having a cabal of older citizens known as the Elders secretly running the city and offering Francis a chance to live past 30. Question 18, which real-life married couple from Mission Impossible starred as Commander John Koenig and Dr. Helena Russell in Space 1999? Your choices are A, Martin Landau and Barbara Bain. B, Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner. C, William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols. Or D, Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray. I think you can play process of elimination on this one and get this one relatively easy. Your choices again are what real-life married couple from Mission Impossible starred in Space 1999? Your choices are A, Martin Landau and Barbara Bain. B, Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner. C, William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols. Or D, Gil Gerard and Aaron Gray. Taking the timer off the screen, of course, the correct answer is the one and only Martin Landau, along with Barbara Bain. Martin and Barbara, who were married in real life and starred together in Mission Impossible, were also cast as the leads in Space 1999. Thanks, Gemini, for telling us something that we had already gathered from the question itself. Let's keep moving. 19. What nickname did the Marshall family give to the Tyrannosaurus Rex that frequently visited their cave in Land of the Lost? Ooh. I think Gemini has this wrong because I didn't read this question correctly and answered it one way. Maybe it is. You guys can, yeah, it is. It is. Okay, no, it's right. Okay, your choices are A, Big Boy, B, Grumpy, C, Spike, or D, Chomper. Let's start your timer. The Marshall family gave a Tyrannosaurus Rex that frequently visited their cave in Land of the Lost. What name did they give that dinosaur? Was it A, Big Boy, B, Grumpy, C, Spike, or D, Chomper? This is a tougher one, I think. I don't think everybody watched Land of the Lost the way that I did. And even I struggled with this one just a little bit. Correct answer is Grumpy. The family referred to the T-Rex as Grumpy due to its territorial nature and frequent appearances near their home. Grumpy was often, by the way, just so you know, when on some of those scenes, not the stop motion scenes, but some of them where they were being terrorized by Grumpy, and you're looking out at Grumpy from the cave that was their home, was a sock puppet, just a really complex and well-made sock puppet. Last question of the evening. What famous actor known for playing Lurch in the Addams Family provided the opening narration and the Hulk's growls for the first 2 seasons of The Incredible Hulk? Your choices are A. Ted Cassidy, B. Orson Welles, C. James Earl Jones, or D. Vincent Price. I'm going to start the timer here. What famous actor known for playing Lurch in The Addams Family, you rang, provided the opening narration and the Hulk's growls for the first 2 seasons of The Incredible Hulk? Your choices are A. Ted Cassidy, B. Orson Welles, C. James Earl Jones, or D. Vincent Price. About 5 seconds left. I'm going to take the timer off the screen. The correct answer is one and only Ted Cassidy. Says Ted Cassidy, known for playing Lurch, provided the voiceovers and growls for the Hulk until his death in 1979. Yes, he left us way too early. All right, that's it for tonight, folks. 20 questions. I'd love to get final scores. Let me go to the comments section. Oh, wait, hang on 1 second. I'll get scores in just a second, but John Bernstein, you know what? He can give me a value of order of fries to go with my burger and my Diet Coke. You guys are awesome. John, thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciated, my friend. You know what? You guys, you just take care of me. Thanks so much. Let me go ahead and move into the comments and see final scores. I want to make sure that I get everybody, so I'm going to scroll up. Here we go. Finals. I think we start with Mike D again. Channel member Mike D got 17 out of 20. What a night for you. My final score, folks, was 18 out of 20. Mike, you're right there up there with me. Gary Carpenter tied me, 18 of 20. James Dye killed it tonight. 20 of 20. Ken Wilkinson, 16 of 20. Dolph Quick, 19 of 20. John Bernstein, 16 of 20. Sakina McMurran, 17 of 20. Phil Cochran, 17 of 20. Herbert Turner, 17 of 20. Karen Lester, 16 of 20. Robert Vance, 9 out of 10, I'm guessing, out of the second batch. Cat head a ball. Can't hit head a ball? Okay. 15 out of 20. Nicely done. Tammy Patton, 16 of 20. Lost count again. That's what happens when you have that many questions. Nick Mamonis, 14 of 20. Jerry Gillespie, 18 of 20. And we'll be seeing Larry Matthews of the Dick Van Dyke Show this Saturday. How cool is that? Man, known only as Jeff. Got 18 out of 20. Robert Vance got 17 out of 20. Phil Cochran says, fun quiz. Lots of great memories. Indeed, they are. Yeah, Jerry. Tell them that we all say hi. All right, folks. You know, as I was saying it, John, I was wondering if I'd said it correctly. So that's good to know. John Bernstein. Because the temptation is to maybe say that last part a little bit differently. But that's good to know. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, John. Dolph says get Five Guys burgers. Oh, nope, can't do that. This is McDonald's money, buddy. Five Guys burger. I bought my son a Five Guys burger. We were in Seattle. One of my boys wanted Five Guys. The rest of us had something else. And so I went and picked him up I think it was a little bacon cheese, the little one. So the one patty. And I believe it was like $15. It was crazy expensive. Crazy expensive. I'm looking at my head as I get closer. I can see some hairs I need to address. Other side, man. Other side. Need to bick it. Need to bick the head. All right. Jerry says, I'll post a picture if I can get to take one with him. That'd be very cool. Would love to see your picture with Larry Matthews. Let's see. What else do I want to cover tonight? We got everybody's scores. Davey Superstar says, great show. Me and my sis just enjoyed all of this. Of course, all your stuff. Dave, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate having everyone, including you, Davey, joining us tonight. I'm going to do this. Let's take that off the screen there. I'm going to play a few more vintage commercials and maybe a surprise video. And then I am going to get the heck on out of here tonight. But before I do, I want to say thanks to everybody. We're just hanging out, having a good time with me, talking about the good stuff, in this case, 70s science fiction television. Thanks to Lance Chaffin for the topic. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Really appreciate you. All right, let me see if I can fire up a few more commercials before we call it a night. Oh, Remind Magazine. Good people, Tabby, get me your address. And for the rest of you, if you're interested, there is a link to subscribe to Remind Magazine in the description section of this video. I am not compensated in any way for doing that, but you know, it's a great magazine. So check it out if you want. And with that, how about these? Yeah, here's some commercials that'll be fun.
Battlestar Galactica will continue in a moment.
Monday, a locked room holds a family secret, waiting for Lucan.
Our circus was in Atlanta and I was feeding Mongo, our 400-pound gorilla. I got too close, Mongo grabbed my Timex. He put it on. He beat the watch. He tore the band. He bit on it. Then he started throwing it. He jumped on it and kept it soaking in his mouth for over 30 minutes. The watch fell between the bars and I got it out. Surprisingly, it was ticking, and still is, a Timex.
Timex, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Uh-oh, that TV show we want to watch goes on in 5 minutes.
America, stop rushing your life away just to catch a TV show. Get a Sony Betamax video recorder and automatically videotape that show while you're doing something else and watch it anytime you want. Sony Betamax. It could change your whole way of life.
Wednesday, the birds and the bees are in big trouble at the Bradford house.
Oh, what is it now?
Is 8 enough to stop 9? And on Charlie's Angels, a gangland Casanova falls hard for Kelly, but it's a downhill affair for her. Then, Ronnie Blakely guest stars on Vegas as a troubled rock star marked for assassination. After 8 is enough and Charlie's Angels.
Wednesday starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on ABC.
When I think back to the $6 Million Man, I recall epic adventures that played out on ABC TV each Sunday evening, as well as the equally epic adventures that played out in my mind. Yep, those imaginary adventures that I envisioned while daydreaming during school or playing with friends afterwards, well, they were just the best. I've got to say that I love the $6 Million Man. Such a great show. And a lot of the love and affection I have for that show was due to Lee Majors. He was phenomenal in the role of Colonel Steve Austin, a NASA astronaut severely injured during an experimental test flight. Anyone who was a fan of the show knows what happens next. He's rebuilt to the tune of $6 million, a new eye, a new arm, and both legs replaced. As much robot as man, he is a cyborg. In fact, that was the name of the novel that the TV show was based upon. And my favorite episodes were those that were a little more fantastical. Okay, a lot more fantastical. Bigfoot, Hello Andre the Giant, aliens, fembots, and perhaps the most terrifying of all of the opponents faced, the seemingly indestructible Soviet-created death probe. This thing was made out of an alloy that was unknown to U.S. military intelligence. It had giant claws, slashing blades, and deadly laser beams. It was, quite simply, a $6 Million Man killing machine. The only thing more horrifying was that freaky mustache that Lee Majors was rocking during much of the 4th season. Why? Oh, why, Lee? Why? Fortunately, by the time season 5 rolled around, the stash was gone. Okay, back to the death probe. As you can see from this picture, Steve had his hands full with this thing. In fact, there were times during this season 4 two-parter that I really questioned how the $6 Million Man could emerge victorious. And in the end, it would take everything that he had, along with the assistance from both the U.S. and Soviet governments,
Side note here, I really enjoyed the two actors who played Russian Major Popov and the probe's creator and scientist Irina Leonova. Nehemia, I think I'm saying that, probably Nehemiah, Persoff, and especially Jane Merrill, reprising a character from season 1 of the show. They're really good character actors. So I mentioned my many imaginary adventures. A lot of that had to do with the really cool toys that were out there. Before Star Wars, it really felt like the $6 Million Man was the king of the toy aisle at Kmart. I could spend hours just wandering those aisles looking at all the cool things that were available. And yes, I wanted that bionic repair station and the backpack radio. Now, did I get either of them? I did not. Another really cool toy was the Death Probe. It was actually one of the final toys produced by Kenner for the $6 Million Man toy line. I guess the powers that be decided that you couldn't sell a toy to kids called the Death Probe, so it got a new name, the Venus Space Probe. Slightly less menacing, and it looked slightly different, but make no mistake, this is Dr. Leonova's insidious creation. The Death Probe would return in a Season 5 two-parter, but this time it was a new version, and of course it was improved, even more deadly. Seriously, folks, I don't know how Steve managed to keep the world safe week after week when he was going up against things like the Death Probe. Of course, by this time, every once in a while he'd have the assistance of the lovely Jamie Summers, his bionic female counterpart, so that kind of helped.
Don't be a joker. Click on that little thumbs up icon and give this video a like.
You are special.
Click on that thumbnail cause it's time to go. Dave's got the classics, let the memories flow. TV shows and movies that we all hold so dear. On his YouTube channel he's keeping memories near. Dave Sundstrom.